If you are starting a California LLC, this is going to be your one-stop guide to California LLCs. I am going to be breaking this video down into different sections and compiling my various resource videos on California LLCs, including everything that you need to know before you start your California LLC, things to stay compliant and important information that you must know. One of the very first steps that you're going to have to undergo when you start your own business is to determine what type of business entity you will have. If you start to collect payments from customers or clients and you have taken no legal action, you have not registered any paperwork with the state, you automatically default to what is called a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor means that you and your business are one and the same. There is no legal separation and there is no taxation separation between yourself and the business. You are automatically defaulted to a sole proprietor if you don't file any additional paperwork. That does not mean that your steps of action are complete. As a sole proprietor, you're still required to look up what permits, licenses, and fees are required within your city, state, and county in order to legally conduct business. The best place to look this up for the state of California is Cal Gold. I'm going to link that website in the video description down below. Now, if a sole proprietor wants to keep things simple, they can operate under their first and last legal name. This will mean that they do not have to file any additional paperwork to register a business name with the state of California. So what if you want a separate business name? Can you do that as a sole proprietor? The answer is yes. If you're a sole proprietor and you want to operate under anything that is not that first and last legal name, then you will need to register a doing business as name, which is also known as a fictitious business statement. As a sole proprietor, you and your business are one and the same. This means that any lawsuits, any debt, either on your end or on the business's end, transfers over to each side. If your business is sued, then you are personally sued and you are liable to those damages. Likewise, if you carry something such as credit card debt and you are trying to apply for business financing or business credit cards, then that debt also passes through as well. This is one of the major reasons why individuals may want to migrate over from a sole proprietorship to an LLC. LLCs separate the business entity and the personal entity. That means that your business assets, liabilities, etc., your personal assets and liabilities are separated. If you're someone that is in a high-risk field where people have potential to file lawsuits frequently against you, then you will want to make sure that you are separated from your business and form an LLC. If you choose to separate and form an LLC, that means that any lawsuits that are filed against your LLC will not enter in and go against your personal assets. Now, in terms of taxation, an LLC is automatically a pass-through entity when it comes to taxes. So all of the business taxes pass through onto your personal tax return. But LLCs do have an option here to elect S Corp status in terms of taxation. Many are confused when they start hearing the term S Corp. An LLC is a type of business entity, just as a sole proprietor is a type of business entity. An S Corp is not a type of business entity, but rather a taxation status. It's important to understand what an S Corp is when you weigh the benefits of being a sole proprietor or an LLC, because electing that S Corp tax classification is a big benefit to many types of business owners. Now, electing yourself as an S Corp does have a lot of additional information that you will need to consider if you are looking into that for your business, but that will require a separate video. And I do recommend talking to a CPA. Taxation part of deciding what entity type is where it gets complicated. If you are a business with a larger income, you are more well established, you may want to switch to an LLC and elect S Corp status. Why? Because S Corp status allows you to take your business net income and pay yourself a reasonable salary. You then are able to take the remaining profits from the business and pay it out to yourself in the form of a shareholder's distribution. What is the benefit of that? Well, if you are earning the same amount as a sole proprietor or as an LLC taxed as a pass-through entity, meaning you didn't elect S Corp tax status, then all of your business's net income is your income and it's the business's because you're a pass-through entity. Therefore, all of that net income is going to be subject to self-employment tax, federal income tax, as well as state tax. Now, self-employment tax is in the amount of 15.3% and includes Medicare and Social Security taxes. If you are elected an S Corp status, you pay yourself out a reasonable salary. That salary is going to be subject to payroll taxes. Now, because you are an employee of your company, you are not self-employed, that owner's distribution is not subject to self-employment taxes. This means that 15.3% on that remaining amount that wasn't paid out to you as a regular salary does not undergo that 15.3% in taxes. For those individuals that are able to cover the cost of payroll, that are able to set up a payroll system, pay themselves out as an employee, and they have a regular, steady amount of income in their business where electing S Corp status makes sense, this can save them thousands of dollars per year. If you are starting a business in the state of California, you may be considering starting an LLC, a limited liability company. But what does it cost to start an LLC? Let's look at specifically what is going to cost to start an LLC in the state of California. First, as of 2023, there is a $70 California Secretary of State filing fee for registering your LLC. You'll be filing an Articles of Organization document with the California Secretary of State. Filing this initial registration is $70. Next, you're going to be required to file a California Statement of Information. This initial filing is due within the first 90 days of formation and currently is $20. Next, you're going to be required to get an EIN, an Employer Identification Number. All LLCs are required to do this, and there is a $0 cost. You can do this on irs.gov and get it free and instantly for no cost. Do not pay a service to get your EIN. Next, you're going to be required to have separate business bank accounts. You cannot use your personal bank accounts with an LLC. So any additional fees that are associated with your particular bank for opening these accounts are going to need to be taken into consideration. Next, let's look at what is going to be required to keep your LLC up and running. The first thing is going to be due at the first year that you file your income taxes for your business, and that is going to be an $800 LLC tax to the state of California. The Franchise Tax Board charges an $800 minimum LLC tax annually. This tax is paid every single year that you have your LLC, regardless of whether or not you turn a profit or how much money you make. You're going to be required to pay this $800 LLC tax. The only exception for this is that currently for 2023, the California Franchise Tax Board is waiving the $800 tax on your first year in business. This does not apply going forward. It is set to end on 2023 as of this point in time. However, if your business grossed over $250,000 in that tax year, then you are going to be taxed differently as shown on this chart. Additionally, in order to keep your LLC active and compliant, every other year, biannually, you're going to be required to file an updated statement of information. This is going to incur a $20 fee on years where you are required to file it. Lastly, there are going to be some other expenses that you need to plan for that aren't necessarily requirements for starting an LLC, but rather requirements or strongly recommended requirements for holding a business in your city, state, and county. The first is holding a business license. In most cities, you are going to be required to hold a business license. This is also known as a business tax certificate. In order to see if you are required to hold a business license, visit calgold.ca.gov and you can check your local requirements there. Here you can also find the direct link to that business license application and the department where to submit it, and you can also locate in that website the specific fee for your own city. These fees vary from city to city, but in general, plan on a fee between $50 and $200. Next, you're going to be required to have a business address on public record with your registration as an LLC. Now, you can be a home-based business and use your home address, and this, of course, would be $0 in additional cost. However, many LLC owners and business owners in general do not want to have their personal home address on public record for the world to see. In this case, you would then need to factor in any additional office costs for having a brick and mortar office for yourself, or factor in costs for a virtual office service. This is different than a P.O. box. In the state of California, you cannot register a business to a P.O. box or a simple virtual address. You must have a service that provides you with a virtual office service where you are actually allowed to register your business to that address that you are using in lieu of your personal address. Next, if you are going to be operating your business under a different business name from what you originally filed on your LLC registration, then you will need to register a DBA, a doing business as name. This can also be called a trade name or a fictitious business name. In the state of California, most counties refer to this as a fictitious business name statement. In the state of California, most counties refer to this as a fictitious business name statement. Fictitious business name statements are filed with your county clerk recorder's office. And in order to check on the specific amount that you have to pay to file this, head over to calgold.ca.gov where you can locate that office for your specific location. Once you register your DBA, you also are going to, in most cases, be required to have that DBA published in a local newspaper. This fee will also vary depending on the publication, but again can range anywhere from $25 up to $150. Next, take into account who your registered agent will be. LLCs are required to have a registered agent on record. A registered agent is essentially the person or representative responsible for receiving all business-related information and contacts from the government. Now, you can be your own registered agent, and in this case, it would be a $0 additional fee. But keep in mind that just with your home address being used for your business, if you are your own registered agent, then your contact information, including your address and phone number, will be on public record. Because of this, many businesses choose to use a professional registered agent service. If you use the link that I have in the description down below to form your LLC with InkFile, then you receive your registered agent service free for a year. If you are someone who is paying for your registered agent service, then this fee can vary depending on which company you choose to use. So make sure you research it in advance. Next, you should strongly consider getting business insurance. There's a variety of different types of business insurance that will apply based on the type of business that you operate, what industry you're in any specific industry, city, or county requirements for actually conducting business. I have a video that lists the major types of insurances linked down below. Next, you're going to want to think about how you are going to record keep. It is going to be a legal requirement that you keep business records. How you do so has a lot of flexibility in it, so you may decide to get a DIY software such as QuickBooks, or you may decide to get a bookkeeping service or a CPA. All of these are going to range in their cost, so make sure you research that up front. Lastly is any industry-specific licensing that you need to obtain and renew. This is going to be very, very varied according to what industry you are in. Some business industries will have specific licensing and permits that you must be registered for, and others do not. So head over to calgold.ca.gov, check on your industry, and see what may be required. Lastly, if you're going to be starting an LLC, I want to encourage you to start it the fast and easy way using a service that I love called InkFile. InkFile allows you to start your LLC in about 5 minutes, and it charges you $0 plus the state filing fee to simply register your LLC. They also give you a year of free registered agent service. It is a fantastic way to get up and running quickly and easily without the headache. Affiliate link is included down below. I do receive a commission every time that someone signs up with InkFile, so it's a great way to help my channel to create more video content and also start your LLC quickly and easily. let's talk about how to pay yourself as an LLC. For those of you that have started or who are planning to start an LLC, a limited liability company, you may be wondering exactly how you are supposed to pay yourself. Making sure that you do this properly is incredibly important because you do not want to trigger an IRS audit or other problems in your business. Before we get started, I want to make sure you understand that I am not a CPA or a tax professional. It is extremely important that you consult with a CPA or a tax professional with regards to any financial planning for your business. This video is going to specifically focus on paying yourself as a single member LLC. First, we need to identify what an LLC is. An LLC is a limited liability company. This business entity structure offers both the protections of a corporation for those business owners that want to protect their personal assets, then they may choose to convert into a limited liability company. Because there are these different ways that you can set up your LLC, there are also different payment methods that you'll need to comply with. As a single member LLC, you can be taxed one of two ways, either as a disregarded entity or as an S corporation. A single member LLC that has not completed a form to be treated like a corporation in the eyes of the IRS is called a disregarded entity, and the LLC's activities should be reflected on its owner's federal tax return. First, let's talk about those of you who are single member LLCs. You did not fill out that extra paperwork in order to elect S Corp status. The method that you're going to use to pay yourself as a single member, not S Corp LLC, is going to be called an owner's draw, also referred to as an owner's distribution. The first step in doing this the right way is going to be to make sure that you have completely separated your business finances and your personal finances with completely separate accounts. Your business is going to take in the payments and sales money into your business checking account. In order to do an owner's draw or an owner's distribution, you are simply going to do a transfer from your business bank account over to your personal account. Now, this can be done anytime in any frequency and in any amount. There's no limitations in terms of how many transfers you can do or any regulations in terms of amount of transfers, frequency, etc. Doing this is very simple, but you have to make sure that you have separated your business and personal accounts because you do not want to trigger an audit. A limited liability company also grants you the ability to elect what is called S Corp taxation status. Electing S Corp taxation status means that you and your business are no longer one and the same, that you and your business are now separate taxation entities. So why would someone elect S Corp taxation status? Well, when you are taxed as a sole proprietorship or as an LLC that did not claim S Corp status, then you are required to pay self-employment tax. Self-employment tax is 15.3%, which covers Medicare and Social Security. Entities will be taxed this 15.3% on their total profits from their business. Now, once a business chooses to elect S Corp taxation status, they complete a form and make the transition. That means that they will no longer be self-employed. Instead, they are going to be an employee of their own business. Because their business and themselves are no longer taxed as one and the same, the owner must then enroll themselves into payroll. This eliminates the requirement for your business to pay self-employed taxes on that total profit. Why? Because as an employee of your own business, you are going to be on payroll. Payroll will be subject to payroll taxes. Therefore, self-employed tax will not apply. Therefore, self-employed tax will not apply to the total profit of the business, but rather will apply only to the portion that you pay yourself as a reasonable salary. A reasonable salary is typically defined by most CPAs as about 30% or more of your total profits. This can essentially save you a lot of money on taxes. However, it doesn't make sense for every business to undergo S Corp taxation status until they reach a certain point of profitability and predictability within their business. For those of you that have elected S Corp status, you have completed that form to be taxed as an S Corp, you are going to have a much different payment method. As an S Corp, you are required to have yourself as an employee on payroll. You are going to need to set up a payroll system and pay yourself a reasonable salary. Most CPAs define a reasonable salary as at least 30% or more of your business's profit. You're going to hire yourself as an employee and put yourself on payroll. Now, if you do not have a payroll software, then the easiest way to put yourself or your employees on payroll is a tool that I love called Gusto. Gusto is an all-in-one payroll solution, and it's super easy to use and user-friendly. Use the link that I have down below in the video description, and it will send you a $100 bonus. Now, you are permitted to give yourself additional owner's distributions, meaning extra money from the business outside of your reasonable salary transferred over as an owner's draw. For those of you that are considering electing S Corp status for your business, I want to make sure that you consult with a CPA prior to doing so to ensure that it is really the best decision for your business. Now, if you're paying yourself and earning money from your business, it is incredibly important that you understand how to plan for taxes. So I want you to click on this video next, where I cover 6 important things that you need to know about tax. If you're about to form an LLC, I want you to stop and watch this video first. There are some really big mistakes that a lot of people forming an LLC make and don't realize until it is too late. Now, some of these mistakes can be corrected and aren't that big of a deal, but some of them have lasting, lifelong implications, and some of them are impossible to erase. Now, when you form an LLC, it can be incredibly confusing. Regardless of whether or not you used a professional service, if you did it all yourself, there is a ton of information to take in, understand, as well as obligations and things that you need to do in order to keep your business active, compliant, and to keep yourself and your personal information safe and secure. It's important that you understand these things before you take the leap to get registered, so that you know exactly what to expect, how to plan, and how to do things properly. Biggest mistake number 1 is not understanding the tax implications that you are going to face once you form an LLC. An LLC provides that additional layer of protection because when you form an LLC, you separate yourself and the business, forming a completely separate entity in the government's eyes. But forming an LLC also means that you then have further tax implications. The most important thing to note is that you are going to be required to pay an annual LLC fee. Regardless of whether or not your business takes in any money or actually turns a profit, you're going to be required to pay that annual LLC tax every year. Now, in my home state of California, the annual LLC tax is $800 for businesses that take in less than $250,000 of annual revenue. This tax applies regardless of your income, whether you earned money or not. And even if you lost money, you're still going to be required to pay that annual tax. The next big mistake that people make when they form an LLC is misunderstanding the benefits of an LLC, specifically with tax benefits. Many people form an LLC because they are under the incorrect assumption that LLCs equal tax savings. That is incorrect. Forming an LLC simply separates the business owner and the business entity. They're no longer one and the same. However, for tax purposes, LLCs with a single member, just one owner, are still defaulted to be taxed in the same exact way as a sole proprietorship, as a disregarded entity. For the purpose of taxes, if you're a single member LLC, the IRS and the government disregards that separate entity, and all taxes automatically pass through onto your personal tax return. This is the same way that a sole proprietor is taxed. So if you form your LLC and you don't file any additional tax paperwork, you will be taxed exactly the same. There is no tax benefit. There's just that additional annual LLC tax, so it's actually more expensive. The tax savings comes in if you do one additional step, and that is registering your business to be taxed as an S Corp. Now, changing your taxation status to be taxed as an S Corp has a lot of implications, and you need to make sure that you have thoroughly talked this through with a tax professional before you decide to do it. Classifying yourself as an S Corp is going to mean that you as the business owner must be an employee of your own company. And everything that comes along with hiring and paying an employee must then apply to you. You must hire yourself. You must put yourself on your own payroll. You must have a system in place for administering that payroll. You must register with the employment department of your state, and you must hold workers' comp insurance and do all the reports that are associated with those tasks. You can use a service like Gusto, which makes it really easy to hire, pay, and stay compliant with employment laws and payroll. This can be a big undertaking, and it is an additional expense. Having a payroll software or having a bookkeeper run payroll for you, as well as all of the things that come along with it, like workers' comp insurance payments, etc., can be a costly addition if you are not ready for it. Next big mistake that a lot of business owners make when they form an LLC is not realizing that they still need to register their business on the local level. LLCs are formed on the state level. This means that your secretary of your state is going to be the one registering your articles of organization and your statement of information. Once you have formed your LLC, you still need to research and be compliant with what is required on your city and county level of business registration. In most cases, this is going to mean registering for a business license, a seller's permit, and a fictitious business name statement, also known as a DBA. Mistake number 4 is not doing the things that you need in order to keep your LLC active and compliant. LLCs have required maintenance that you need to do either annually or biannually, depending on your state's requirements. Make sure that you know exactly what is required to keep your LLC compliant. Most LLCs, this is going to mean filing an updated statement of information. Most often, this is required biannually, every other year. The next mistake is failing to separate your business and your personal finances. Now, if you're previously a sole proprietor, you might already have a series of systems in place. It's important to understand that when you convert to an LLC, you are required to completely separate your personal and your business transactions. Because you've formed a completely separate entity from yourself, you no longer can use any personal accounts for your business transactions. This means that you need to open business bank accounts and use those business bank accounts only for business transactions. Lastly, and very importantly, because this cannot be erased from the internet, it's going to be there forever, is understanding that all information that you use in registering and forming your LLC is going to be on public record. It is all searchable on the Secretary of State's database, and people do search for it. Now, when you form an LLC, you're going to be required to use 3 addresses: your business's physical address, your business's mailing address, and your registered agent's address. These addresses are all going to be listed on public record and searchable on the Secretary of State's website. Now, because they are searchable, they're going to be cross-referenced and listed in other places around the internet. For example, Google Maps will frequently share a satellite photo of the business's outside location, as well as the address in the Google business search results. There's also a wide variety of different companies who profit solely off of categorizing lists of new businesses and selling them to companies that want to try to sell to them. Therefore, the addresses that you use for these 3 registrations are going to start to pop up all over the place on the internet. However, if you're someone that's trying to maintain a certain level of personal privacy and you are not okay with that, then make sure that you obtain a virtual office and enlist the services of a professional registered agent. We're going to go over exactly what you need to do annually to keep your California LLC up and running and active. You cannot start an LLC because you are a cat. Now, for those of you who have not yet started your LLC, I want to refer you to the link in the video description down below. This is a tool called InkFile, and I absolutely love recommending InkFile. They allow you to start your LLC for just $0 plus the state filing fee, and they provide a year of free registered agent service. It makes it super fast and easy. You can start your LLC in about 5 minutes. The link below is an affiliate link, which means that my channel does receive a commission anytime that you make a sale. Hi. Why are you so fierce today? I just want love. Fierce. After you form your LLC, the California Secretary of State's office is going to require you to file an updated statement of information biannually. So this means every other year you're going to be required to submit an updated statement of information. Next, you're going to be required to pay an annual state LLC tax. In the state of California, the LLC annual tax is $800 unless your business grosses $250,000 or more annually, in which case you're going to be charged on a different scale. Next, you're going to be required to have in place an operating agreement. In the state of California, you're not required to submit this operating agreement anywhere. In order to have an active LLC that actually has all of the LLC's protections legally enforceable, your business needs to have an operating agreement in place. Next, you're going to be required to file your annual income taxes. Your federal and state income taxes for your business are required to be filed annually. Next, some of you may be required to pay estimated income taxes. Once you pay your first year of income taxes for your business, if in the next year you anticipate that you will owe $1,000 or more in taxes, then you're going to be required to pay estimated income taxes. These are broken down into 4 quarterly payments and are due throughout the year. It is a breakdown of your anticipated tax bill due for next year, paid in advance. Next, you're going to need to continue to have an EIN, an employer identification number. Now, once you set this up, it's fast and free initially with the IRS. Now, there's no ongoing maintenance for this. You do not need to reestablish an EIN. Once you have already set it up with the IRS, it's fast, easy, and free. But you need to make sure that you have it in place to be compliant. Next, you're going to be required to maintain accurate financial records for your business. Your personal and business finances need to be completely separate, meaning that you will need completely separate business-only bank accounts, and you do not mix personal and business transactions at all. In addition to simply having those separate business bank accounts, you also need to keep financial records. Now, the IRS and California Franchise Tax Board do not give you specific requirements in terms of exactly how you must keep those records, so you have a lot of flexibility there. You can maintain a personal spreadsheet, you can use a DIY software such as QuickBooks or Xero, or you can utilize the services of a professional bookkeeper or accountant or CPA. Next, you're going to be required to notify the California Secretary of State's office as well as all of your other business registration documents if you have any specific changes, such as change of owners, change of business locations, change of address, etc. Next, if you do not trademark your LLC's name, then you will need to continue to monitor that you are not infringing on anyone else's trademarks, because there's always the possibility that someone else could trademark that name. Next, make sure that you're in compliance with your local business requirements. So your city and your county are going to have their own set of requirements and registrations required in order to operate your business. Hopefully these were initially set up when you first started your LLC, but if you are not sure what these are, make sure you visit calgold.ca.gov. There you can look up your specific industry, city, and county and see a list of requirements on those levels that you must maintain for your business. And as a bonus, I'm going to throw in one not required but highly recommended, is that you maintain business insurance. If you are not sure what type of business insurance you need, I cover those exact. Now, if you're not sure exactly what types of business insurance your business should have, I cover the main types in this video right here. I'm going to show you exactly how you can register your business as an LLC in any state for free without doing all of the filing paperwork yourself. The only thing that you will need to pay will be your state's filing fee, and they will provide you with a full year of registered agent service for free. And the entire process is going to take less than 5 minutes. At the end of the video, I'm also going to show you something very important to save you some additional money. Now, if you have not yet researched whether an LLC is the best fit for your business, I want you to watch the video that I have linked in the description down below where I go through sole proprietorships versus LLCs so you can determine what may be best for your unique situation. First, click the link in the video description down below to head over to InkFile and file your LLC for $0. Next, you're going to click on Start My Business, and then you're going to select LLC and select the state in which you are forming your business. Next, you're going to select which package you would like to choose. Regardless of which package you choose, you are going to have to pay the state filing fee to the Secretary of State in order to register an LLC, no matter how you do it. If you want InkFile to handle your paperwork and pay $0 for them to file your LLC, then you're going to select the Silver package option. InkFile will charge you $0 on their end and collect the state filing fee. And for this, you will receive the preparing and filing of your articles of organization. And the best part here is that you will receive free registered agent services for a year. For those of you that want to pay for an upgrade, you can upgrade to the Gold package, which will include other essentials such as your operating agreement, which must be written and kept on file in order to have an LLC, as well as several other features. Once you have selected a package, then you're going to enter in your contact information and your mailing address. From there, you are then going to select the state filing time. Do you want to have it completed in 8 weeks or in 18 business days for an additional up? Next, enter in the name that you would like for your LLC. An LLC must have a limited liability company designator at the end of the name. So you're going to do this by typing in the name of the LLC and then selecting the designator separately. For example, if you want to be Small Business Help LLC, you will type in Small Business and then select LLC as the designator. Next, enter in the number of members or owners and then type in your business purpose. Next, you're going to enter in what industry your business is in. Now, this is also known as an NAICS code. If you are not able to locate your industry type, then I want you to click over to the NAICS website to search all possible codes. Next, you're going to be asked how your LLC will be managed. There are 2 different options that you can choose here. Number 1 is member managed. This means that the members or the owners of the LLC, most likely you, will participate in the decision-making process of the LLC. This is the most likely and most common answer for the majority of the viewers of this video. The second option is that your LLC will be manager managed. This means that a manager, a person who is chosen by the members, will manage the day-to-day operations of the LLC. Next, you're going to enter in your company address information. This is not your mailing address, but rather the actual address of the business. This must be a brick and mortar site, and you cannot use a P.O. box. Now, there are 2 options here. Number 1 is that you provide your own address. This could be an office address, a brick and mortar store address, or it could be your home address, wherever the business is going to be registered. But if you are operating a home-based business and you want to protect the privacy of your home address, then you will need to sign up for a virtual office service. InkFile offers a virtual office service here where you can register your business address to be an address that they provide. Once that is complete, then InkFile is going to offer you an upgrade. They're going to show you a variety of different services that they can add on if you upgrade your package. And this is where I want to save you guys some money, because if you pay InkFile to obtain an EIN for you, which is an employer identification number, then you are essentially throwing away your money. Obtaining an EIN number is fast, easy, and free, and you can do so on the IRS website. I have a video that shows you exactly how to do it, linked in the description down below. The next document that they offer here is an operating agreement. Now, an LLC is going to be required to create and keep on file an operating agreement. If you choose to do this yourself, you can easily write it yourself based on one of the many templates available for free online. Or for simplicity and for streamlining the process, you can have InkFile do this for you if you so choose. Next, you're going to be offered free registered agent service for 1 year. Now, this is a really great value, and in my personal opinion, this is the reason to file with InkFile. Registered agent is someone that represents your business. Their specific task is that they are assigned to receive mail and important notices for your business. Your registered agent can either be yourself, a representative from your business, or it can be a third-party service that specializes in offering registered agent services. Now, there's a few different reasons why you might want to employ a third-party service as your registered agent. Number one, if you are someone that values personal privacy, if you are trying to keep your personal information off of the internet. The second reason why you might want a separate professional registered agent would be if you are someone who is not at your home or your place of business often. If you are someone who travels frequently, who is not often available, then you might want the security of knowing that there is always someone available and who is hired specifically to accept those important notices on your behalf. Next, you're going to select your preferred method of delivery and click Next. Choose to opt in or opt out of their tax consultation. And the final page is going to give you a reminder that you are required to be responsible for filing and registering any business licenses, permits, or other requirements that are required in your city, state, and county. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful, but you're not done yet. Want to make sure that next you click this video that is popping up on your screen, because in this video, I go over many other additional very important things that you need to know about filing your LLC and